Right now, without any effort, you're doing something no other creature on Earth can truly do. You're understanding language. These words appear in your mind as meaning instantly. It feels natural, like breathing. But somewhere, deep in our past, there was a first word. A first time one human made a sound, and another understood it. So when did it happen? When did we start to talk? It's one of the greatest mysteries in all of science. Because words don't turn to stone, language leaves no fossils, and yet clue by clue we're closing in on the answer. This is the hardest question in human evolution. A skull can survive 1,000,000 years. A stone tool can last forever, but a spoken word vanishes the instant it's made. There is no ancient recording, no first sentence carved in rock. So scientists became detectives. If we can't hear ancient humans speak, we can look for the machinery of speech, the genes, the bones, the brains that make talking possible. And when they started digging, the timeline of the first word stretched back further and stranger than anyone imagined. The first clue was hidden in our DNA. In 2001, scientists studied a family with a strange inherited speech disorder and traced it to a single gene, FOXP2. The headlines exploded. They called it the language gene. Finally, the secret of human speech found. But then came the twist. When Svante Pääbo's team sequenced Neanderthal DNA, they found something shocking. Neanderthals had the exact same version of FOXP2 as us. That pushed the roots of speech back over 500,000 years before we and Neanderthals even split. And it gets humbler still. Newer research showed FOXP2 doesn't single-handedly create language at all. The language gene was never that simple. Speech, it turns out, isn't one gene, it's a whole orchestra. So scientists turned to bone. Speech needs a specific piece of hardware. The hyoid, a small horseshoe-shaped bone in the throat that anchors the tongue. In 1989, in Kebara Cave in Israel, they found a Neanderthal hyoid, and it was almost identical to yours. Even a hyoid from Homo heidelbergensis, a species from around 600,000 years ago, looks strikingly modern. The physical equipment for speech is ancient. Then came the ears. In a Spanish cave, researchers studied the tiny ear bones of human ancestors who lived around 430,000 years ago. And those ears were tuned, precisely adjusted to pick up the exact frequencies of human speech. Think about what that means. If their ears were built to hear speech, someone was probably already speaking. And finally, behavior. Around 100,000 years ago, our ancestors began doing something new, carving symbols, wearing beads, painting with ochre. And here's the key: a symbol only works if you can explain it. You can't share meaning without language, so the moment we see symbols in the ground, we're almost certainly seeing the fingerprints of speech. So who's right about the timing? Scientists are split into two camps. One says language was gradual, its roots reaching back 1, even 2 million years, to early humans like Homo erectus, slowly built over immense time. The other argues for a sudden spark, that around 50 to 100,000 years ago, something clicked in the human mind, and modern, complex language exploded almost overnight. But perhaps the most humbling discovery is this: the FOXP2 story taught us that our greatest gift wasn't some magic gene that set us apart. It was built from pieces we share with other animals, repurposed, rewired, and combined. Our voice may be less a sudden invention and more an inheritance we finally learned to use. So why does this matter to you? Because language is the reason you exist as you are. It's the invisible thread that lets one human pour their thoughts into another's mind. Without it, every person would have to learn everything from scratch. With it, knowledge could survive death, passed from parent to child, generation after generation, for thousands of years. Language is why we have history, science, stories, laws, and love letters. The moment an ancient human could say danger, follow me, or I remember, humanity stopped being just another animal. Every word you've ever spoken is an echo of that first breakthrough. We will never hear the first word. It dissolved into the air hundreds of thousands of years ago, lost forever. We'll never know if it was a warning, a name, or a cry for a loved one. But we know this: somewhere long ago, one human made a sound that carried meaning, and another human understood. In that instant, two minds touched for the first time, and from that single spark, everything we are was born. You are still speaking that first word every time you're understood. If this made you hear your own voice a little differently, subscribe. Every week we bring the forgotten world of ancient humans back to life. And tell me in the comments, what do you think the very first word was? I read every reply.